Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Sara Lubratt, and today we are going to be talking about 8 tips to help you actually achieve your writing goals. If you're going to enjoy this video, I'd appreciate it if you could hit the thumbs up button because that helps tell the YouTube algorithm that you liked my video and that somebody else might too. And subscribe if you have not already. It's free. You can always unsubscribe later. So, tip number 1 is to set a realistic goal. I say realistic because it's very fun to set really lofty writing goals, but then it's also hard when you don't hit those writing goals because life gets in the way, or because your project didn't actually need that many words, or you didn't give yourself long enough to achieve that word count, or however you're setting goals. So, setting realistic goals. I recently filmed a video where I talked about my fall writing goals, and you can watch that video here. But basically, I saw that there was somebody on Instagram that really wanted to write 100,000 words during 3 months. And I saw that and I was like, oh, I want to do that. Like, that sounds amazing. Like, I would love to write 100K in 3 months. And then as I was like sitting with it for probably about a week, I realized that that's not even in alignment with what my writing goals currently are, or the writing that I want to accomplish in the next couple of months. And that my writing goal for the next 3 months much more closely aligns to like 20,000 words a month, which I have had many months where I've hit 20 to 30,000 words. So I know it's doable, I know it's achievable, I know it's something I can do, and it fits with the projects that I am trying to write and how many words those projects will need, while also taking into account how much I'll be out of town. Especially for the holidays, this is a big one. Factoring in time that you know that you will not be writing to help you make your writing goals more realistic. Because as fun as it is to be like, yeah, I'm gonna show up every single day, I'm gonna write 1,000 words every single day, that's just like not what happens. And that's okay. That doesn't work for most people. There are a couple, but very few exceptions to that rule where some people can show up and write 1,000 words every day. But for the vast majority of us, that's just not the case. If you have friends, a family, dependents, a spouse, work, school, extracurriculars, there are so many other things going on in our lives that we need to take into account to then help us set realistic writing goals. You want to set yourself up for success in hitting these writing goals instead of setting something that's unattainable and then once you're not even close to being on track for it, just completely giving up. You want this to be realistic to actually achieve what you are trying to achieve. So now that we've talked about setting realistic goals, let's talk about tip number 2, which is to break down that goal. One of the biggest game changers for me in trying to set realistic writing goals and expectations was planning on days not to write, especially around the holidays, or especially when you know that you'll have like an especially busy work day, or like maybe Mondays are just too much. It is so helpful to try and set like a word count expectation for yourself when it takes into account the days that you will not be writing. Let's say your goal is to write 30,000 words in a month. If you then set out to write 1,000 words a day, but then you have 2 days where you're busy, and then you were able to write 1,000 words a couple more days, and then you have another day where you can't, or you only get like 200 words or something like that, which is still good, don't get me wrong. But it's very easy to get in your head about, oh, well, I'm under my goal. Like, I'm not doing enough. I'm not hitting my goals. Like, I'm not a good writer. We want to do everything in our power to not say those negative things about ourselves. So instead of trying to write 1,000 words a day for 30 days to get your 30,000 words, maybe you plan on not writing 10 of those days. So instead, your goal is 1,500 words a day for those 20 days that you do write, so that you have built-in time off or time away from writing because of other life things happening. That was probably one of the biggest game changers for me in setting realistic goals. Something else that might help you in choosing a realistic goal and then breaking it down is a video that I made called The Power of Writing Consistently, where I basically break out, if you write X number of words a day, how many words you will write over the span of a couple months or a year. There's a quote I really like from Richard Rhodes that says, "A page a day is a book in a year," which is true if you break down 100,000 word manuscript or novel into writing every single day. You would need to write 273 words a day, which is really good when you like zoom out and look at it like that. Or you write 550 words every other day, you still end up with a book written in a year. So it's all about how you choose to break out your timeline and plan for days to not write. Tip number 3 is to not fixate on your minor setbacks. If you are having a day where you just like can't write, don't beat yourself up over it. It's gonna be okay. We are not chasing perfection. This definitely takes some practice, but it is so much kinder to yourself to forgive yourself yourself for that day instead of beating yourself up for it, and just forgiving yourself, enjoying like your evening or your night or whatever, like the rest of your day, and then just telling yourself that you'll do it the next day. But it is so important to be kind to ourselves, because some days the writing just doesn't happen, and that's okay. But that's part of building in flexibility to our goals. But please, 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 please don't fixate on your minor setbacks. Next day will be better. Which leads me into tip number 4. Treat every day like it's a new beginning, because it is. As much fun as it is to set really lofty writing goals or writing goals in general, it sometimes happens that then we get lost in the big picture. Every day is a fresh start. Every day is a day that you could have like the best writing session so far. So don't get too lost in like the bird's eye view or like the big picture. Sometimes it is important to help pull us out of like the day-to-day to remember like what's going on and what we're trying to accomplish. But I also notice that sometimes when I'm hyper fixated on the big picture too much, I forget how much I love writing, and I forget why I write, which is because it's fun and it's because I really, really enjoy it, which is why I want to write to begin with. So treat every day as a fresh start. When you sit down to write, remember why you love writing. Just enjoy the process, which is also partially tip number 5. Don't let discipline overwhelm how much you enjoy doing something. Yes, discipline will be there for you far more than inspiration is. So if you set up the habits and you have writing built into your day, and you know when you write best and you know how you need to show up for yourself in order to write your best, discipline will be there for you. But also don't let discipline overwhelm the joy you get out of writing. Basically, don't stress yourself out about it. Writing is supposed to be fun. Writing for a lot of us is an outlet, so focus on the joy that it brings. Tip number 6 is actually a tip that I got from one of my friends who runs her own business, and that is to do something nice for your future self. And one of the ways that I've found I can be the most helpful to my future self is that when I'm closing my computer for the evening, I pull up my documents, so that will be the first thing that's open when I open my computer in the morning. You could also spend some time like tidying up your desk if that would help your tomorrow self write a little bit better, or whatever it is that you need to write well or write a little bit more distraction free, whatever that means to you. Try and set that up the day before so that you are setting up your future self to have a better writing session. Which leads me into tip number 6. When I mentioned that I have to pull up my documents before I close my computer for the evening, that is so that when I open my computer in the morning, the first thing I do is a little bit of writing. Like 20 minutes, 30 minutes of writing in the morning jump starts my entire day. I am such an evening writer. That's when I feel like I really write the most words, but if I can sneak up on my writing before my brain is like fully awake, 1, the words flow really well, but also 2, then when I enter into my evening writing session, I've already gotten a jump start on it. So if I'm trying to write for 1,500 words or an hour of my day or whatever, and I've already done 20 to 30 minutes, or maybe gotten like 300 or 500 words, that's less I have to do for my evening writing session. And it just makes me feel like I've gotten so much further ahead than I would have if I just waited until the evening to write. I also feel like I'm more creative throughout the day, and maybe that factors into it too, because if I start writing in the morning, then my brain has the entire day sort of like in the back of my brain to keep working away on my story so that when I sit down to write again, I'm ready to go. Tip number 8 is rewards. We are not above bribery here, and I know I've said that in past videos. If you need to write 500 words before your next cup of coffee, or if you need like a little piece of chocolate for every 100 words you write, or every 10,000 words you buy yourself a cake and have a dance party, then like whatever it is that works for you, celebrate the little wins, reward yourself. Writing a book is a huge deal. This necklace that I'm wearing is actually a reward that I got myself for finishing draft 6 of editing Project DE. It's a little dragon. I love her, but it felt right. And now every time that I get to put this necklace on, I remember that I can finish a book. Granted, draft 6 wasn't finishing the book, but now I'm done with draft 7, so I finished a book, like in its entirety, wrote it, edited it, revised it, rewrote it, did some more editing on it. And now every time I get to put on this dragon necklace, it reminds me of what I want to do with my life, because as much as I know that I would love to be a full-time author, getting to put this on and being like, yeah, I did that is so fun. So reward yourself. Writing a book is incredible. You are doing an amazing job. And I really hope that the tips in today's video help you achieve your writing goals. Let me know down in the comments below if you have any tips for achieving your writing goals that you found helpful and would like to share with other people. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Sara Lubratt. Like and subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.